HardCar got into this originally through a former police officer who saw a need. The challenges are, obviously, this is a cash-based business. So what happens is when I drop off cannabis, we're picking up cash.
Okay. So this is the company HardCar that you're involved with right now.
Correct.
How did you get involved with these guys? How did you start working for these guys?
Initially, I had wanted to get into the industry, obviously from an advocacy standpoint because of the military guys, the two of my buddies, and really didn't know how to get into it. But after seeing, as we talked about a little bit earlier with Viceland, and seeing there were security teams that were doing this, kind of to look at that model and see if it was something we could do here in Florida.
Right.
So the challenge is that everybody wants to do this. The reality of it is that not everybody can do this. If we now vet all of our guys, so as you come in, we do federal background checks on everybody. I've had from pedophiles to guys who told me they were Navy SEALs, and obviously, both ends of that spectrum is not acceptable, especially if you're the pedophile and you're not the Navy SEAL, that's a problem.
Right.
So my challenges were finding guys that were who they said they were, who had a great temperament, to bring them into this kind of cool and emerging industry.
Okay.
So
So HardCar's main objective is transporting cash, correct? Or is it also transporting marijuana?
It's actually doing both.
Okay.
Our vehicles are up armored. The new ones we now have actually have AC units in the back.
What does that mean, up armored?
Up armored is basically a bullet resistant.
Okay.
So the front cab the windows are completely resilient to any kind of gunfire that you try to use on the vehicle at all. Wow. So that's really to kind of keep the guys safe. Again, that's our primary objective here at the end of the day.
Right.
And again, they're discreet. So if you looked at them, it looks like a Sprinter van. You would not have any clue that that's what it is. We run with the windows are slightly tinted. All of our operations are typically done behind the building. So we try to stay out of the way of the general public. Most of the guys are tacked out. They carry rifles and handguns and which always kind of looks weird in front of a dispensary. Oh, the SWAT team's there. So we dress a little bit different. We try to act a little different. We're not real aggressive. We do pre-trips to make sure that if we're coming up on a new place, where they're located at, what's the crime rate in that area, what are the possibilities of somebody trying to come up and jack us in the middle of either a cash offload or a cannabis offload. So it's the reoccurring process of staying alert and staying on your game.
So who are the clients of HardCar?
Right now, out in California, there's about 6,500 licenses that are out there, and each of the dispensaries becomes a customer to HardCar. So we do a couple of different things differently than just a security group.
So individual marijuana dispensaries.
Correct.
Contract HardCar.
Correct.
Okay.
And we would, again, transport their cash, their product. We can do the new push in California is for a product called Flash Frozen. It's cannabis that is loaded into a trailer. It's literally cryo-freeze down to 20 below. And what happens is they take this then and bring it to a large press. We actually put it in our back of our trucks. The trucks have the ability are refrigerated. Yeah. So it's hold a temperature at about 19 degrees. So we transport this. As an example, we did 2,200 pounds. When you start looking at this, and these are the groups that we try to align ourselves with. Flocana is a distribution model in California right now. They're like the Amazon right now. They come up with
weed.
Who is this again?
It's called Flocana.
Flocana, okay.
Flocana out of Northern California. Great group, distribution based. And what we do is we leverage our transportation against distribution. So if you say, hey, Mike, we want you to transfer our cash for us and our cannabis for us, we're like, great. We'll do that for you at no charge if you guys let us handle your distribution. So we're a different security group. That's really where we make. So now we're going to save you money on the processing cash. HardCar Security is the first group in the country to actually make a deposit into the Federal Reserve. And we continue to do that today.
Really?
So yeah. And again, when you think about it, it's federally legal. Well, how do these guys do that? Well, there's a process to get that money in. Obviously, we drive up-armored vehicles that are certified up-armored vehicles, which gives us the ability to, first of all, transport cash anywhere. We have a license to do this. So just in case anybody's out there who makes their ears pop up when I say this, but we can transport cash anywhere in the state or anywhere in the country.
Right.
Cannabis, unlike cannabis that is federal guidelines, you cannot break state lines with cannabis. So there's a whole other side to the federal thing with regards to, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to transport cannabis. I'm like, if you transport cannabis and you're breaking state lines, it's only a matter of time before you get caught.
So you guys just do like a long road trip and you'll hit multiple dispensaries when you're dealing with cash?
It depends. We have set minimums on cash we would pick up from your dispensary. If you're not doing $1 million plus when we stop in, because that's what we're there to pick up, we're probably not going to be doing business with you yet.
Okay.
So we're looking at that threshold. So when we go to a particular location,
So you guys have to pick up a minimum of $1 million to be able to make it worth your while.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. And to make it every worthwhile for everybody. Listen,
Right.
obviously the less time, what creates crime is opportunity. So the less times we touch this and carry the larger amounts, the less time we have to worry about somebody coming more aware of what our movements are.
Right.
So as we, if we're picking up big cash, we send a chase vehicle out as well.
Okay.
Those guys are armed. They're behind the vehicle, typically in a suburban type, and it's going to be noticeable to some extent, and we want that. We want people to realize that, listen, if you're going to try to get foolish here, that
You're going to get fucked up.
things are going to go left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't do the traditional, fat, overweight security guy who is not really taking this as a way of life. The guys that we employ, this is a way of life for them. This is they're gun guys to begin with. They live a certain lifestyle. They're typically in great physical condition. They care about what they look like. These are the guys that we're interested in. Everybody can shoot a gun. It's how well can you shoot a gun? How well do you take care of yourself? When you look smart and you look like you're somebody to be dealt with, that sends a message also that again keeps the bad guys away from you.
Right. Wow. That's
Have you guys ever ran into anything sketchy? Any problems or anything?
Absolutely.
On any trips? Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, listen, one of the few things that obviously many people don't do is when you pull up on a particular location and you just take a few minutes to look around.
Yeah.
And we've had guys who've actually videotaping us. We have had actually individuals within the dispensary that we were picking up stuff from videotaping us. And when I was like, hello, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, dude, I'm going to put this on Instagram. I'm like, yeah, oh, my ass, you're going to put this on Instagram. So now we have to implement some new policies and procedures with some of the dispensaries, making them understand, listen, we're not trying to be a hard ass here, but we don't want people to understand what our movements are, what our vehicles look like, and what are we transporting today. Obviously, if we drop off 300 or 400 pounds of cannabis up to 2,200 pounds, if you do the math at $2,000 a pound, it adds up pretty quick. You can be in the situation of carrying $30 million to a particular location where now you have to count that money. We process it. We actually bag it up for the Federal Reserve. I think it's amazing when you see how many counterfeit bills are out there. So we have to now, these units automatically pull those counterfeit bills out, and then we have to go back to the end user, the customer, and say, hey, listen, it was $300 in bad bills that were here. And by the way, you don't get those back. Those go right back to the Secret Service. So it's crazy when you really think of that in the bigger picture, but you think about how much money you're carrying.
Yeah.
And where could you possibly get $3 million in one hit off of a truck on the road today? Especially when you look at the Brinks trucks, the Dunbar trucks.
Yeah.
And so again, we're looking to do that long haul. The state of Florida has determined now there's two types of transportation. You've got local delivery, and then what they actually call the heavy haul, and which just is the same way that it sounds. It's a heavy transport for processing purposes. Again, 1,000 pounds, whatever that particular number would be.
So what is that process like to actually deposit all this cash into the Federal Reserve? So